Hello, my name is Darkmoon Doll, and thank you for joining me today for episode 2 of the new show I started about diet and fasting. Today's episode is going to be about teen years and food. Someone asked me if I would share my experience with diet and fasting, and I decided to start off from the beginning and work my way to right now. So if you missed the first episode, please do check it out. I talk about childhood and food, my relationship to food when I was a child. So today, like I said, I'm going to talk about my teen years and food. Like I said in the previous episode 1, that I had a very unhealthy relationship with food. A lot of times I would use food as comfort and not as nourishment. Teen years wasn't as different, but a bit different. So here's a photo of me when I was 14. Yeah, or 13 going on 14. And this was just before I was living in a suburban neighborhood, and this is just before we got evicted from our house, and we ended up moving into a location called East Chicago Heights, Illinois, which is a very, 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 very scary place to live. It looks like a third world country, at least it did when I lived there. And my relationship with food then was very bad. My mom had told me because I had gained a lot of weight when I was from ages 10 to 12, and I can attribute that to my need for comfort. A lot of things were in disarray in my household. My dad was in and out of coming back to stay with us and not. My mom was an alcoholic. Well, both of my parents were alcoholics. So those kind of stresses would lead me to eat in order to soothe all the stresses that I had from the situation I found myself in. So when we moved to East Chicago Heights. I was a freshman in high school, and I had gained quite a bit of weight. And my mother told me that she would put clothing on sale on layaway for me at Kmart if I were to lose the weight. She put 3 pairs of ice wash stretch jeans into layaway at Kmart, but they were 3 sizes too small for me for the current size I was at that time. So I would get up every morning and do this thing called the 20-minute workout, and I would just work out so much to the point where I was exhausted, do the whole complete workout, and then I'd head off to school. And now the lunches that I ate were very sparse. Sometimes I wouldn't eat lunch at all, would skip lunch. So there's that unhealthy relationship with food and diet that looking back on it, I'm thinking, there's no way I would live like that now. So yeah, it was very, very crazy. I was getting my information on diet and food through teen magazines. And those aren't that reliable, of course, when it comes to trying to hone into your own body and tuning into what you should be eating and what kind of activities fit you. So yeah, I was still jumbled back then. And skip to when I moved in with my sister to California, because I moved to California. My mom, she was very distraught. She ended up becoming a bag lady, and so I was shipped to California to live with my older sister out of 8 kids. So yeah, I lived with her and her 2 children for a while when I was a teenager. Here we are, dressed up for old school photo. Can you see where I am in here? But yeah, anyway, that was my sister and her kids that I lived with. And during that time, I still had a lot of issues that I had to deal with that I didn't feel comfortable with talking to anyone about. I talk about it on this channel about an incident that happened to me when I was a kid, where I was molested by a family member, and that memory haunted me for quite a while. And it affected how I treated food. My relationship with food was always for soothing. So yeah, had some hard times there. And what I learned through living with my sister is that she wanted to explore like a vegan lifestyle. So we went to a health food store, which was called Elliot's Health Food Store, and we looked at all the herbs and healthy foods. So at this point in my life, I'm starting to go in the right direction as far as food, seeing it as nourishment and not seeing it as like something I have to eat in order to soothe whatever problems I'm going through. So that's all I'm going to share today for this show. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you for everybody who's subscribed to this channel. Thank you for the likes and shares. And feel free to leave any comments you like about what I talked to you guys about today. Maybe it'll help you to see some patterns in your life and how you can make yourself as healthy as you can be now. So stay tuned for next week, where I talk about my 20s and how I discovered certain diets and also how to cleanse my body. So stay tuned for that for next week. Till then, I'll see you guys soon. Peace. Whoops.